Hello, and welcome to Orcanos Academy training session. In this session, we will take the first steps in creating a new description layout for a work item. Before starting, make sure all your fields are properly set up and appear in the item's fields layout. In addition, if you plan on using any filters in the description, we recommend setting them up first in a work item view to make sure that they work properly and are ready to be embedded. In this video, we will start by creating a description layout for a Kappa form. To do so, start by accessing the relevant project, in this case the QMS eForms, in the view of product tree. This way I can create a test item under my project that won't have any effect on the existing data. I'm going to right-click on the folder, add item, choose the correct work item Kappa, and create. Name this item test item and click save. By scrolling down to the bottom of the work item, I will see the description layout field, which is currently completely blank. By clicking the pencil, I'll be able to start creating my description layout. For specific information about using all the functions of the tab, there's a unique post for that on the Orcanos Academy and the Orcanos Help Center. When creating the description layout, we recommend using a table in order to contain all the data. This will give you the best presentation layer when creating your records. However, it is not a requirement for the description to work and the functionality to work. Adding a new table by clicking this table button here will open a pop-up where you need to define the amount of rows and columns that you would need. In order to decide how many rows and columns to start off with, you need to first review all your fields and make sure that you have cells to contain all the information. Another tip that we recommend for best practice is to create separate cells for the name of the field and the field that will contain the data filled in the form. For this example, in this first section of overview, I have 12 different fields, which translates to 24 cells in my table. I want a row for the title and a row for a subtitle called Overview. So I will choose 6 columns and 5 rows to start off with. Going back to the description layout, clicking Table, I will choose 5 rows and 6 columns. Now, you don't need to be exact when setting your original table. You can always adjust and make changes as you go. Another important tip is when choosing the width of a table, you want to set it as 100%. This will make sure that the data and the presentation layer will always adapt itself to the screen you're viewing the record on. It will give you the best aesthetic and avoid any trouble with creating data in the future. Once you've created your basic table, it's time to start putting in all the names of the fields you want it to contain. So the first example I'm going to show you is choosing the entire row by right-clicking. I can choose cells, and just the same as building a Word file, I can merge the cells in order to create my heading. So Kappa form. You can play around with the size and the format and the style as much as you want until you get your desired result. I will set this as a big size, center, and choose a font. Another option you have is to change the background of the cells by clicking right-click on the cell, cell properties, and you have the background color and the border color to play around with. I can choose a background color to be light gray, and so on. Next, I'll start filling the name of the fields I want to contain in my form, always leaving an adjacent cell empty for the embedded information. So going back to the top, I can fill the requester and the requesting date. As you can see, the rows and the columns will adjust themselves as you enter information. You can just as easily drag and change the width of the columns as needed. Always recommend the name of the field to be in bold or underscored so that when the information is filled, it is easy to see the difference between the two. Keep playing around with your fields and subtitles until the form layout looks the way you want it to be before you start embedding any of the filters and the fields. So we've got requester, requesting date, DMS item list, Orcanos code, and so on. If after you've created your initial table, you want to add rows, in the same way you can add a row before, after, or delete rows, and create another subsection. For now, this is enough for our example. In the next video, we'll take the next step in embedding the fields and the filters into the layout. Thank you for listening.